as the day progressed, we probably pulled a couple thousand or so, memories hazy, but it was a lot of people. And they were coming up the bridge, going to the other side, and then they were stuck right there with no transportation. So they needed food, shelter. It was hot. There was no food and water for them. So we were trying to deal with this crowd on this one side, and then, 30, 40 boats on this side, bringing people in. And a lot of them were needing, first aid and serious medical attention, and, it was too much to do anything with. And that's kind of how the whole day went. We'd bring them over the bridge, get them to the dry side, and then they were stuck right there on that side of the bridge the whole day. We had about 3 trucks that made it there, and we were trying to triage people as to who could get on the trucks, because when I realized we weren't getting a truck every 2 or 3, 4 hours at a time, I was like, okay, when the next truck comes, we have to send, we had elderly people with, conditions, and we had people on breathing oxygen machines that were coming, we had rescued. So we were trying to triage people to make sure they got on the truck, when it did make it. And I think we probably maybe had 3, 4 loads of trucks that made it back there. A lot of that afternoon was triaging and keeping that coordination. And by that afternoon, I guess or by around 5 or 6 o'clock, I realized that these people were probably going to be here overnight. And they were. Nobody managed to come get them by dark. We were having to pull people out because we were running out of fuel again, and the conditions were kind of getting to a point where we didn't think that we could safely, run the boats at night because there's so much debris. We would have probably got stranded ourselves, and so they made a decision at dark to pull back and come back out. And the worst part of that was we had all these people still there, that we had to wait there overnight with basically no food and shelter until the next day. And they were very upset. They had started a couple of fires. Like, they weren't burning buildings down, but they'd set fires on a couple of things. And, there were some stores there they started to break into for food and water, which, we were kind of outnumbered, so you really couldn't exactly go in there and start getting them for looting. And then you couldn't blame them for trying to get in there and get some food and water. So we had to, deal with that. And at some point, we pretty much had everybody lined up, and we had some confrontation between officers and some of the civilians coming up and screaming at us and, cursing at us because we got them out and then we left them there. And I'm very empathetic to that. I understood what their concern, but at that point we had no way to get vehicles there. We got in the boats and did what we were supposed to do, and unfortunately we probably brought them into just a miserable situation, because they didn't have any shelter.